Hey guys, welcome back again to another exciting video. In today's video, we will learn the legendary life story of the Thumri Queen Girija Devi. Therefore, before we begin, if you are new to this channel and like the content what we post, then you should go down and hit the subscribe button and push the bell icon so that you'll never miss any exciting videos when we upload them here on YouTube. Let's get started. Girija Devi was born into a traditional Hindu family in a village of northern India, where she lived with her parents and her two older sisters. Later, they moved to Banaras when she was 2 years old. The city became an integral part of her life and her music. Today, it is still her home. Banaras is on the river Ganga and is the oldest living city in the world. Legend has it that the Hindu god Shiva founded the city, which was religious significance for Hindus, Buddhists, and Jains. Music has flourished in Banaras for centuries. In the 15th century, the famous Sufi poet Kabir lived and wrote his poetry on the banks of the river. She received her music education in Banaras in her guru's house. The neighborhood is known as Kabir Chaura. Her guru's descendants still live there. Kabir Chaura has been home to many famous musicians like Kanti Maharaj, Kishan Maharaj, Hanuman Prasad, Bade Ramdas, Ram Sahai, Rajan Sajan Mishra, and many others. Her whole life revolved around the river Ganga and singing. She spent long hours playing on its sandy banks with friends, learning how to swim and catch fish. She would catch a fish, observe it fighting for its life, and let it go. It is amazing to think that she brought an agony of the fish fighting for its life into her music for so many years later. Growing up, she was a bit of a tomboy. Her father, Ramdeo Rai, taught her how to fence and ride horses, which was not a common thing for little girls to learn in the early 20th century. As a real patron of music, her father was also the one who recognized her passion for singing and found her a teacher. Her first guru, Pandit Sarju Prasad Misra, started her rigorous training in vocal music when she was 4 years old. He taught her various classical forms including khayal, thumri, and more difficult and technically complex style like tapa. After Sarju Prasad ji passed on, she became a disciple of Sri Chand Mishra. Unfortunately, apart from her father, the rest of her family was not very supportive. Her mother, who became one of her biggest fans later in her life, could not understand why she was wasting so much time on something as inconsequential as classical music. When she was just 15 years old, she was married to Sri Madhusudan Jain, a businessman who was truly a lover of music and poetry. She was fortunate to have so much support from her husband. A year after their marriage, they had a baby girl. Her husband continued to support her musical career, but she soon felt the strains and demands of domestic life interfering with her practice. She decided to go away to Sarnath for a year. Her husband found a small place for her and she lived there with her maid while her mother took care of her daughter. Her husband and Guru Sri Chand Ji visited her every evening. She continued to take rigorous music lessons from her guru and she practiced for several hours every day, starting at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. That 1 year of deep spiritual practice sadhana changed her life. The hard work paid off. She came back to Banaras with a new insight of what sur, a musical note, really means. At the time, you could only hear classical music at live music concerts or on the radio. Her first performance was broadcast on a radio station in a town called Allahabad, not too far from Banaras, when she was just 20 years old. It is hard to believe that in 1949, she had already officially launched a career as a professional musician. With her husband's support, she kept learning, performing, and traveling to music festivals. Her husband did not want her to perform at private concerts and she was happy to accommodate his wishes. She traveled all over India and along the way, she got to know Ravi Shankar ji, Ali Akbar ji, and other great contemporary artists. They became her dearest friends, her music family. Those were memorable times. They shared their music with each other and built sincere friendship that are special to them even now. In 1975, she endured one of the most painful moments in her life. She lost her husband. Until that point, she had never had to manage life on her own. Even the simple things like paying bills had not been her responsibility. All of a sudden, those responsibilities were her. She stopped performing. A year went by, but her friends and fans could not watch her suffer like this. They convinced her to go back to performing. She went back to the stage. She supposed that this was what she was destined to do. From then on, she devoted herself to understanding the importance of poetry and lyrics in singing. Rasa, the expression of emotion, became the primary focus of her compositions. She worked long and hard to express the various forms of love, such as love for God, love for your beloved, and simple maternal love. Her thumris, which are typically based on stories of Krishna, became the focal point of her practice. She decided to change the entire complexion of thumri singing. She was determined to give it a new face. She thought of thumri as a medium through which to express herself. The emotions of love, longing, and devotion are an integral part of thumri, and she thought that with the right kind of music she could make the lyrics come alive. It is impossible for songs to have a physical form like a painting. Sometimes she used lyrics from folk music and gave them a classical form. She spent many years just studying the oft used symbols of love and devotion of Ram and Krishna. Besides singing Khayal, Thumri, and Tappa, which in her opinion is the heart and soul of North Indian classical music, she loved singing other classical forms like Dadra, Holi, Chaiti, and Jhula. The lyrics and style of these genres are very unique to Banaras. Once she began experimenting and putting herself into her music, she felt intoxicated by the notes and music they created. Music was like a vast ocean for her. She felt as though she were swimming in with immense pleasure. For her, music is all that she needed in her life. She died on 24 October 2017 following a cardiac arrest at BM Birla Heart Research Center in Kolkata at the age of 88. Well, that was the life story of Girija Devi. We hope you have understood today's concept. If you have any doubts, you can contact us by clicking the link in description. If you have liked today's video, then don't forget to drop a like to it and share it with your family and friends so that even they get to know about the Thumri Queen Girija Devi. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, then go down and hit the subscribe button and push the bell icon. Thanks for watching today's video, and we will see you in the next very soon. Till then, you can watch the rest of the videos which are going to appear right now here on the screen. Enjoy it.